So I've changed the foot, press the foot back to a 0, and I've placed the needle again into the center position. What I'm going to do now, I've got my pencil case pinned together. Now we're going to start stitching right at the very top up here, right here, 1 centimetre in from the outside edge. So what we're going to do is going to line this edge of the fabric up with the first line to the right of the needle, and with the needle sitting directly on top of the very top of the edge of the pencil case, just like that. Okay, we're going to hang on to the threads. We're going to sew forward 3 stitches, back 3 stitches right to the top, and then forward. Now take your pins out as you come to them, and what we need to do is keep that edge of the pencil case lined up with the first line to the right of the needle, and we're going to sew all the way down. And we're going to stop 1 centimetre up from the bottom. Now if you're unsure of where that is, you can actually mark it in with a pencil, or get your teacher to mark it in with a pencil. You can measure it with a tape measure and put the marking in, and we're going to turn the corner on that dot. Okay, so I'm going to keep going to the dot. So I finish on the dot. I'm going to hand wind those last couple of stitches. I'm going to check underneath, 1 more stitch. Lift the presser foot, turn the fabric. The edge of your fabric will be lined up against the first line to the right of the needle again. And we can continue sewing to the next corner. Take your pins out as you come to them. Now, once again, mark your corners before you start sewing. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that before. So I'm just going to mark a corner in here. You use a tape measure or a ruler to mark yours, or ask your teacher to mark it for you. All right, because we need it 1 centimetre from the edge. It's important. Okay, I'm going to hand wind the last few stitches so I end up in the corner. Needle down, lift your presser foot, spin your fabric, and we're on the last run up to the top. I'm going to go all the way to the very top of the fabric. Now when you come to the seam allowance here, we don't want it to bend back when we stitch over it, so make sure it's sitting flat. And I'm going to sew right to the top of the fabric, right to the end, and then back stitch like this. And I'm going to cut the threads off there, and on the other end. So now I have my machine stitching all the way around the edge of my pencil case. The 3 open edges are now closed. What we're going to do now is set the sewing machine for zigzag, and we're going to zigzag along our edges. So once again, we change our stitch width to 5, stitch length to 2. We line the edge of the fabric up with the inside edge of the foot there. We start right at the top. Just move this for you. Hang on to your threads, and we're going to pull. And you've got a zigzag finish both of those edges together. Now what you can do is you can stop with your needle in the left hand side here, so you're still on the fabric, then lift your presser foot, spin it around, and keep zigzagging. Once again, I'm going to stop with my needle about here, so it's still inside the edge of the fabric. I'm going to, on the left hand side, so on the needle on the left hand side, like this, down, lift your presser foot, turn it, and stitch all the way up to the top. flat over the seam allowance and right up to the top. Now, instead of cutting the threads off so they finish here, I'm actually going to take my tails and I'm going to tie them together into knots. So I'm going to tie a couple of knots on that end and then cut the threads, cut the tails, just so your zigzagging doesn't come undone, and then this end as well. One, two's enough, and then 2 or 3, and then cut the tails off. And we're ready to turn the pencil case out the right way.